Hotels, a place we go when on the road to our destination, or maybe a road trip but you don't know where you are going. Or perhaps a holiday overseas for a week or two. However you look at it, you can guarantee that every person who works at a hotel has a tale to tell. This is 5 creepy stories from hotel workers. Awful night on the job. Bartender at a more upscale place. It was a quiet night and a distraught-looking guy came to the bar, ordered a shot and a beer. I must admit, I was catching some mess-up vibes from him. I tried to sum up some small talk to lighten up the mood. The guy seemed like he wanted to talk but couldn't. So I asked him if everything was alright. He said no. I asked him if everything was alright, anything I can do to help. Even offered him a hot plate of food on the house but he declined. He then proceeds to tell me that the escort he hired that night had cut her own wrists and now lays dead in the bathtub in his room. I jumped back and was like, holy crap, I need to call 911. After calling 911, I ran back to the man but saw him slumped at the bar. I went up to him to check up on him. Are you alright? I asked but no answer came. After checking for a pulse, his was weak and he was also pale and cold. 3 days later, a visitor came to the reception with a note in hand. They handed me the note with a ghostly look on their face. The note was that guy's suicide note and read, I am sorry for the mess that I leave in your hotel, but I wanted to feel the warmth of a lady before I took my life. I was given a week off to deal with all this but was shocked when I got back and it was like nothing had happened. Shadow figures. I used to work in my aunt and uncle's hotel in a Scottish village about 12 years ago, and the freakiest shit that happened to me was one night when I was sleeping in the staff quarters and heard a banging noise from along the corridor. This was about 3 a.m. after most of the staff had gone to bed. I got up to go and tell whoever was coming in late to shut up so I could go back to sleep, but the corridor was empty. Well lit, I have to add, this is key. So I walked down the end of the corridor to see if it's folk coming up the stairs drunk or whatever. I looked down to see a figure stomping up the stairs. The only way I can describe it is as though a shadow of a person that was solid. There were no features on the face or clothes on its body. Imagine someone in a black morph suit walking along but you could see things through them. I turned and ran back to my room and shut the door. I could still hear the stomping for some time, and I don't think I got a wink of sleep at all that night. I didn't leave my room until the sun was shining through my window. I asked a few of the other staff if they heard the banging the night before, but nobody else had. And like fuck was I gonna mention seeing shadow men coming up the stairs at 3 a.m.
Roommate. Before I was born, my parents decided to move to the coast and open their own little seaside hotel. The first thing to do when they moved in was to clean all the rooms, so they took half each to speed things up. My mom told me this story when I was little. She was in room 8 doing some vacuuming when the whole carpet started rippling. When I was little, I didn't think this sounded scary at all, as I just thought that maybe the carpet had got caught on the vacuum or something, and so I never really thought about it again. Fast forward to about a month ago, I remembered this old story and made fun of my mom a bit for thinking it was creepy, when it was obviously explainable. She looked confused and told me I must have not understood her when I was little. Apparently what had actually happened was that the entire carpet had rippled in a constant fluid wave-type motion, and all the furniture and herself had been lifted up and down off of the floor for about 10 seconds. She then screamed bloody murder at my dad down the hallway and told him they were selling the place before it had even opened. He managed to convince her otherwise, but she never went back in that room. It scares me more because my mom doesn't believe in the supernatural or anything like that, and she doesn't have any other creepy stories at all, just this one that she doesn't like to talk about often.
Monster attack. I worked at a hotel in Florida, a fairly upscale place. One day after a particularly bad string of thunderstorms, I went to clean the pool. They had an actual pool guy they called from time to time, but only when the pool was really bad. When I first looked at the pool, I brought the manager outside and told him I felt like it was out of my scope. The pool was covered in debris. Leaves, plants, mulch, dirt, etc. He told me he thought I could handle it, though, so I was like, whatever, guess I'm scooping this thing out with a net all day. So I start scooping, probably had been scooping for an hour or so, when this girl comes to the pool in her string bikini and asks if it's swimmable. I ask her if she really wants to swim in that, she just kind of shrugged, and decided to lie down in a sun chair until I finished scooping the pool out. We started making small talk, and finally she said she just wanted to dip her legs in. She does so, and after about 10-15 seconds, I notice some weird-looking things swimming around in the pool, and they're coming right for her feet. I scream, "Yo, get up! Get out! Get out now!" She looks at me like I'm crazy, but gets out. I point and she looks down, and about 10-12 of these giant cockroaches are now gathering near the wall where she was soaking her feet. She freaked out and ran off, and I assume went back to her room and had a nervous breakdown. I went and got the manager, told him to either call the pool guy, or I'd do it himself, because I wasn't working with these monsters. He actually opened one of the pool filters and came across about 15 or so more of them in the filter. It was a sight you don't really unsee.
Mental decline. I worked at a hotel for about a year. It was usually pretty good. Some people would stay at the hotel for weeks or a month at a time for business reasons. But there was this one old lady that had been there even before I started working that just stayed in her room all day, occasionally leaving to go down the hill and pick berries or something along the street. Maybe get food or other supplies. She really wasn't a problem other than not letting people into her room. About January of 2015, she started acting weird. Like yelling at people walking by her room, calling down to the front desk and being angry about things that had never happened. This goes on for about a week and then she just goes off the deep end. She starts standing outside of her room, yelling at people that entered her sight, no matter how far away they were. She would call down to the front desk, but now she would say really creepy things like, "You shouldn't have done that. You'll be sorry for that. I can find you." And then she'd hang up. Eventually, after about 2 weeks, we forcibly ejected her after her credit card declined. She threw a fit and had to be removed off the premises by her son. Let me tell you, going into that room was like entering hell. Stains all over the carpet, blood and feces sprayed across the walls in the bathroom, blood on the mattresses, empty cans everywhere, jarred foods that stank to high heaven, boxes sealed shut, some with black ooze dripping out of them. Light bulbs stacked in the corner, all in perfect condition but not used in the lights. It was horrible. Found out she went off the deep end because she had been denied her pills for some kind of mental thing.